A way to pump you up, you should be lovey-dovey. I know it's still February, the month of love, they say. That's a beautiful song by the maestro, Fordjour, and she. It's now time to head to the courts, and Captain has joined me in the studio. Let's head to the courts. All right, we're in court. Captain, good morning.
Good morning, Lily. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Today is Tuesday. The week is running very fast.
You know, I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. I thought it was a Thursday already.
That is just a few days ago, we entered into February. And then all too soon in February, it's just about saying goodbye to all of us. It tells you how fast the world is running these days. So if you have anything to do,
say BBI and Tempana, time no day. You know, that thing you said you wanted to do, do it now. Charlie, time no day.
Tomorrow is not there.
Say go marry that girl, go marry
him, go marry him, right?
So boy now, wapewa.
Now we'll check your own sister. Now me call.
Ejuma na so about question no, kona question time ni ho. Sika na so. That investment, you know, that school you said you will attend, Charlie, go pick up forms. Listen, time no day. You know, I was over the weekend. I was just thinking about my life. I was like, hey, just a few days ago, I was in my 20s. Woo!
Now you're in your 30s.
Charlie, where did life go? Charlie,
at one point in time, you were thinking, oh, I have some few more years ahead of me. But you realize that where you are getting the crucial
time no day, master. Anyway, since we don't have enough time, let's head to the court.
Yeah, today I have a very tall list of cases that I'll be sharing with you because some of our viewers have lost track a bit in all of that. So today I'll be updating you more on some of the things that did happen. But yesterday, Amnesty International Ghana paid a courtesy call on the Office of the Attorney General and the Attorney General himself, Dr. Dominic Ayine, to discuss some of the things, outstanding issues that they felt like, look, there are things that the Office of the AG will have to look at. The former Attorney General, they have discussed some of these issues with them and all of that. They are out of office. It's only fair that as an institution, they come and then introduce or say hello to the Office of the Attorney General. So to raise some of the issues that they have been discussing all along and how best they can resolve some of these issues. And one of the things that came to the fore was the issue of the death sentence. You note that, yes, the death penalty. In our laws now, cases that have to do with murder, for instance, the death penalty has been abolished. But they are still absolutely. In our constitution there are still some offenses that still require, when you are found guilty, the death sentence is applied. An example is treason. Treason and high treason carry death penalty. Of course, when terrorism, act of terrorism, when proven, also carry a death sentence and all of that. So
what of manslaughter?
Manslaughter now has been reduced to life. No, it used to be life imprisonment. When murder was death penalty, manslaughter was life in prison. So now murder has taken the place of manslaughter. And now manslaughter has been reduced to years. So the court will have to give you a certain
That's a determination of the judge.
And now even a lot more people have decided to even enter into plea bargaining. Not plea bargaining as you go and negotiate, but you look at the point, some people would ask that, okay, I'll take care of the family that I have, that of a sort. And so they look at the laws and then they give you. And I've seen some situation, manslaughter, the person is given 10 years, some 15 years, some 5 years, depending on the situation and the circumstances and all of that. But back to the Amnesty International, Genevieve Pattinson has been speaking to me yesterday in relation to what they think the death penalty should be.
We are here paying a courtesy call to the Attorney General, which is the Honorable Dominic Ayine. It is our first time meeting him. Amnesty International always has a great relationship with Office of the Attorney General, so we found it prudent to come here and introduce ourselves. He already knows us anyway, but it was good to have an official courtesy call just to discuss some of the human rights issues that we work on. One in particular was the death penalty. Although Ghana has partially abolished the death penalty here, there are still issues with the Constitution. For example, we still have embedded in our Constitution that death penalty for treason still exists, and with that clause, Amnesty International cannot recognize Ghana as an abolitionist in practice. So we came here to appeal to him to just ensure that for the constitutional review, this particular clause in the Constitution is addressed and the death penalty is completely removed from our books.
So that is
Patterson.
Yeah. Yes,
she was here, I think somewhere last year.
Okay, yes.
On
so
the show, yeah.
Country director, Amnesty International Ghana, and all of that. So giving us some perspective about the death penalty, even though in the laws or in our things, it is partially abolished. So they want a complete abolishment of the death penalty. It didn't end there. She has also been speaking about the witchcraft bill. Let's hear her.
Another thing we spoke about was the witchcraft accusations bill. We all know that it was passed in Parliament, but the previous government refused to assent to the bill. So we wanted to inquire what's next. It's a private member's bill, I must say. So there's bills that have been relapsed in Parliament, and the issue is it's going to start the process again in Parliament. With private members' bills, only those that introduce the bills in Parliament can refer the bill to Attorney General's office if they want government to carry the bill forward. However, it can be reintroduced into Parliament as a private member's bill, and we have to start the process again. The process can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years, but we are hopeful that it will be, seen to immediately, and Parliament will prioritize this.
Genevieve Paddington on the witchcraft accusation bill and all of that. But what's your take on community sentencing bill? There's been within some time there's been that push, that advocacy to have it passed. So
especially Accra, as it is very dirty. Let's put people to use.
Yes,
I mean
somebody
incarcerating them
is found guilty for stealing a tuber of yam, and is going for 5 years, 6 years, and all that. Yesterday, for instance, a case happened at the court where a young man went to a mining site and then stole some cables, and then he was given 48 months in prison. That's almost about 4 years.
I'm sure that community, he could have better cleaned that community. I'm sure they are gutters.
But fortunately for him, he came to court yesterday, and then the court had to reduce the sentence to 24. From 48 to 24.
He's lucky. But sometimes I think incarceration is...
It rather hardens the system that we have.
It doesn't reform.
It doesn't.
It
doesn't at all.
It's just very few people. And sometimes some of these people, they pretend to be reformed.
Absolutely.
They pretend to be preaching the gospel in the various prisons.
I've had situations
and they come back and they do worse.
I've had situations where I had conversation with somebody, ex-convict, committed another offense and came to court, and the explanation was that when he came out, the environment was not too friendly for him, so let me just go back and meet my friends there and all of that. That place you are fed, you are giving something, even though it's not enough, but he thinks that is a nice place for him to be and all of that. So the system really doesn't really shape us, reform us the way we want the inmates or persons who have offended the law to be shaped. But of course, Paddington has also been speaking about the community sentencing bill. Let's hear.
The community sentencing bill. It's something that has been in the works with the previous government, but nothing has been formally introduced into Parliament. So it's something that Amnesty International is also very concerned about, and we're happy to say that the Attorney General was also quite intrigued about this community sentencing bill. Overall, I believe the issues that were addressed were very positive, and the meeting was very productive, and he has given some great advice, and he has given us assurance that the human rights of Ghanaians will be protected and respected regardless. So we're looking forward to this relationship continuing, and will continue coming for advice and just working hand in hand with Office of the Attorney General.
At this specific time.
So Genevieve Partington, the country director, Amnesty International Ghana, yesterday, and her team visited the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayinde, to discuss working matters and all of that. But Lily, yesterday, before I came here, I told you about the fact that the Deputy IGP, COP, Christian Teteyono, will be at the court. Yesterday, physically, he wasn't present in court because for those who were following this or who are following us will note that we made mention that the court or the judge has given them that opportunity to be absent until such time that the court needed their presence. And this case has to be in relation to a contempt application that has been filed by one Theophilus Tego seeking the court to commit them to prison for playing rules. They said they have empowered some land guards to take custody of property of land at Ghana. But I tell you what, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding the applicant himself in relation to all of that. Yesterday they appeared in court. The lawyers made the point, especially the lawyers of the applicant said they have now received the affidavit in opposition by lawyers of COP, Teteyono, and then the others, and they will need to file a supplementary affidavit, and the court has directed that they should file by that and come back on the 12th of March for that motion to be whether it will be allowed. GHOne, who is lawyer for the holding title sorry's brief for the officers, said that it is possible that he will kick against that particular request. So on the 12th of March, that particular case will come up in court.
What's up with the Beige Bank case? The case with the highest number of witnesses.
Interesting thing. So yesterday the case came on before Justice Ifiase Wasaributri, a justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge. And yesterday, prosecution indicated to the court, you note that for some time now, that case has stalled. We're supposed to have the 29th defense witness for, say, Michael Nyineku to testify. But that didn't happen. It's on hold because prosecution informed the court that the new Attorney General is reviewing the docket. The latest updates in relation to that case that yesterday, prosecution informed the court that the accused person and the Office of the Attorney General are negotiating on the aspects of the charges, and once that is done, they will notify the court. So they sought an adjournment, which the court granted it, and the case has now been adjourned to 24th of March. That's a long adjournment. So what is clear now is that Mr. Michael Nyineku, the former, the CEO of the defunct Beige Bank, and the AG are negotiating on some aspects of the charges before the court for the 3 counts, including stealing and other offenses, and that are involved there. So those are some of the cases that came out yesterday. But yesterday also, Lily, there was a case which has to do with the case that has to do with the Tema Bakadan train accident. Yes.
What's the update on that?
That also came on. 4 accused persons are before the court, and in relation to that, yesterday, Justice Kizita Nakwa-Wakwashi was expected to fix firm dates for the trial to begin, but a new state attorney has now been assigned to the case docket, and so she requested for time to be able to peruse the document, to peruse where the court has gotten to so far. But she has no objection to the fact that at the next court date, she will not kick against the court fixing firm date for the trial to commence. So that case has been adjourned to the 12th of March. So that's one of the things that also happened yesterday. And for those who remember, the Okujeto Ablakwa's impersonated. There were 2 gentlemen who were arraigned and arrested for allegedly impersonating Okujeto Ablakwa, Hannah BCU, and then Thomas Ampem Dako. What is clear is that yesterday the accused persons were in court, and the court has directed that prosecution said they were supposed to file their processes, including witness statement and all of that. They have some witnesses who are yet to sign. They said that they want to file all at once, so the court should oblige them some opportunity to be able to put that right and have it filed, which the court presided over by Justice Nakizita Wakwashi has granted. And the last of what happened yesterday also was Cecilia Dapa's mates.
Right.
Yesterday, they were in court. They were supposed to come to court for the second witness, the driver of the husband of Madam Cecilia Dapa, to face further cross-examination. I must say that the witness was present in court, the parties were present, including their lawyers and all, but the accused persons were absent. And guess what? The bus that was carrying the accused persons to court, the bus you see over there, and on your screen, the bus you see on your screen, that's the one that has been carrying the accused persons to court, broke down on their way, so they couldn't have their way, and it was a very so they had to send that message to the court as to why they are unable to convey the accused persons to court. And it was a worry to the court because these are accused persons who can, at any point in time, anything can happen. You have convicts who are also coming to court to probably challenge or seek for an appeal and all of that. And they are also in that bus. Can you imagine what will happen in situations like that when the bus breaks down and all of that? So the Interior Minister and then the AG, all of you have to come together and look for another bus or resource the prison services in the country to ensure that they have better facilities to be able to carry persons who are facing
such an embarrassment.
In open court yesterday, it looks funny, but it's a very serious situation. So the case couldn't come on because the bus that they were in broke down on the way. So the case has been adjourned to the 10th of March 2025. So these were the things that happened to the end
yesterday in court.
Yes.
Today, what's happening?
Guess what? The man in white is on your screen. Alhaji Collins Dauda. Many will be wondering, why are we putting Alhaji Collins Dauda on the screen today? Because we know that the AG has filed the prosecutor to drop charges against them. 70 counts, yes. But today is the day that the court will officially discharge them. They have filed it at the registry, we have reported and all of that. But today, Justice Ernest Usudapa will be informed that yes, the AG has withdrawn the case, and so the accused person should be let go. So that is what will happen in relation to this very case, the Saglemi affordable housing case involving Alhaji Collins Dauda, Kweku Ajiman, Mensa, Alhaji Ziblim Yakubu, and then Nuvi Tete Angelo, the contractor in the matter. Albert Clocanas is deceased, so he is no more from the charges that were leveled against them. And Menzgold. Namwan is back in court today for the Menzgold customers. So those you see on your screen are aggrieved customers of Menzgold who are every now and then when the case is up in court, they are always in court to see what will happen in relation to what they have already asked President Mahama to make sure that at least 200 million is included in his first budget, which will be read in the coming days in Parliament, so that they can have some money to be able to sort themselves out. So today, we expect the Ntim case to come. But what is likely to happen is that there's an appeal that he has initiated, including a stay of proceedings, asking the Court of Appeal to tell the High Court to put the trial on hold. Because the court is saying that it is going to hear, Ntim should open his, file his witness statement and open his defense. He said, look, hold on, I disagree with that. I'm going to the Court of Appeal to challenge that. So that is Ntim in one of the court sittings when he appeared in court and he was leaving the premises of the court. So the prosecution is expected to apprise the court or update the court on what has happened at the Court of Appeal, and that will inform the High Court the next line of action in relation to this very case. And there's one other case that sometimes what you see and then what you do sometimes bring you problems. Yes, on your screen there is
in everything you do, be mindful.
Be mindful. Things that you say about people and the manner in which you say them and all of that.
Not everybody will take it like
Martha and Kuma and then Lil Wayne are back in court today, and the matter is simple. Martha and Kuma has sued Lil Wayne for seeking 5 million Ghana cedis damages for comments that Lil Wayne is said to have made about him, which she felt that her reputation has been damaged, and for that matter she's before the court seeking some redress and all of that. The parties are embarking on out of court settlement. We reported that, we broke that news that Martha Nkrumah has rejected the video apology done by Lil Wayne because she felt that if you watch that video carefully, it is not from the heart. It's just from the mouth. It's not from the heart. She wants a befitting apology and all of that. So today they are back before.
But can she see inside the heart of Lil Wayne?
No, there are certain apologies, certain things when you say, you know that with the kind of track. So that's one. When you see it, you can see the wedding and then even the demeanor of the person. You realize that no, this one is difficult for me to accept. And she felt that what Lil Wade did really went down her spine, and so she wanted to be facing apology and all of that. So today they are back before the court to apprise the court whether they have been able to settle the matter as per the direction of the court and as per their own volition to go and then settle the matter out of court. So today, before Justice Fosimba Ejepon, will know whether they have been able to settle the matter and whether the Lewin has done a new video of apology, which is to be accepted by Martha Nkuma. So that's one of the cases that we should expect today. Then it's a case that has been missing for a very long time. OSP. And then
this is Charles Bissiu, yeah.
Yes. For those who remember, at some point in time, the OSP declared Charles Bissiu wanted in relation to some investigation that he was carrying out and all of that. And apart from all of that, Mr. Bissiu went to the High Court, the Human Rights Court, seeking the reversal of that particular declaration that was made against him. The High Court, in fact, the Human Rights Court dismissed that case, and then he said that no, the court did not go into the merit of the matter. You can't just dismiss the case like that. So I'm heading to the Supreme Court. So today, the Supreme Court will be hearing that particular motion in which lawyers of Charles Bissiu are seeking a reversal of a decision taken by the High Court in relation to OSP's director or OSP's actions that declared him wanted sometime 2024. And the last of the cases that we'll be discussing with you is the Ofankor murder case. And Lily, watch on your screen again. I remember I have discussed this way, dressing with you all of that. At the point in that I thought it was Catholic, but this is not the one that the Catholics use. And also, Nana Kankam, the one in the suit over there, he is the man, the landlord, who has been accused of killing or murdering his tenants, and so he is facing charge of murder. And yesterday they were in court, but unfortunately the case was rather for today. So today they will be in court before Justice Marie Louise Simmons for prosecution to call their next witness. The prosecution is led by Mrs. Sefa Kobache, a chief state attorney, and this particular one will come on today. So we'll know more in relation to what will happen today. So on court today, very packed, but we have been able to bring you all of that. So these are the cases that came on yesterday, and then those that we do expect today. A very packed court day indeed.
Indeed. Captain, thank you very much.
Thank you, Limo.
We wish you the best.
Yes, as always.
For a packed day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
sometimes when it's not easy when you check the line now, some are clashing and all of that. So you have to. And the most interesting thing is that sometimes the case that you think that something very interesting will happen, the one
that's no show, and then the ones that you think
you rather think before you realize something is happening.
A lot happening.
And social media now is making things very, very difficult for
I don't envy you. But we'll catch you on the flip side. That's Captain Mutala in the South Court today. Let's look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. We begin with the Daily Guide newspaper. NIB invites Joe Ghartey for questioning. Dom Kwabinya, NPP denies role in defeat. Anyway, scrap dealer steals 200 cooking pots. Agenda 111, $1.7 billion needed to complete projects. That's according to President Mahama, as one of the topics that will take center stage in our conversation on the Breakfast Review. Daily Graphic, government determined to win Galamsey war. That's according to the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa. Port charges to be reduced, taxes, duties, levies targeted. That's according to the Transport Minister. AGI ready to partner government on 24-hour economy. Will prioritize low-cost housing for workers. John Bauer. Graphic Sports marks 40th anniversary with awards. That's it for the front page of the Daily Graphic. The Chronicle is next. It says MC sends 40 mine inspectors abroad for training to improve upon efficiency, also decentralize operations in mining regions. Need for solidarity among Africa, its diaspora and Afro-descendants. Galamsey war will be retributive, fair and firm, Amaboa warns. South Daichi's Lord Siama's appointment as governor of the Bank of Ghana. Memory verse for this morning on the Chronicle, Psalm 78 verse 72. With upright heart he shepherded them and guided them with his skillful hand. Anyway, let's move on. The Daily Searchlight. Mahama's Gestapo goes after Ghartey. Dr. Zachary Mumuni appointed as first deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. Cocoa smugglers caught. Cocoa board GRA for foil cocoa smuggling attempt at Togo border. Transport Minister assures Shippers Authority of support to retain shipping lines. Flags and forest water bodies, we are coming for you. That's according to Lands Minister Emmanuel Kofi-Boa. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, make Council of State active, VIP charges members, invest in technology to drive productivity. Professor Boateng is saying, rainstorm hits Mampong, renders dozens homeless. That's a story in page 3. You want to grab a copy of the Ghanaian Times newspaper to check it out. Minerals Commission increases efforts to tackle Galamsey, boost mining oversight. That's it for the Ghanaian Times. The Daily Dispatch. NPP government completed one agenda 111 hospital. We need $1.7 billion to complete the rest. That's according to President Mahama. On the breakfast review, we'll look at the amounts, the evaluation of the projects, the amounts that the then Minister for Health projected that was needed to complete that particular project. You report you so high in Kumati's Buzia after 1972 coup. The Daily Post. Only one agenda 111 hospital was completed by a Kufado. That's President Mahama saying. NIA begins free issuance of Ghana card at 276 operational district offices. Comes with a picture of the Executive Secretary of the NIA. NPA boss affirms government's commitment to ensure seamless implementation of their cylinder recirculation model. Interestingly, today is his birthday. Godwin Aduji Tamaklo, happy birthday to you. So that's what the newspapers are reporting this morning. You can grab a copy on your various newsstands, or you can simply go online. These days, everything is online. You can check them out and read more on the stories that are projected on the front pages of the newspapers. We take a break here. When we return, our guests will be seated and we delve into issues of national interest here on GH Today on The Breakfast Review. Please stay tuned in. Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. My guests are seated. This morning I've been joined by Kwame Jantwa Esquire. He's a leading member of the Convention People's Party. They are asking that the Kotoka International Airport be renamed to what? Anyway, we'll find out later on the show. Hamza Soyeni Esquire is a member of the NDC Communications team, and George AC is a member of the NPP Communications team. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you.
Like the adjective?
Yes. Of course, I am beautiful.
I just want to elicit something that... I want to tell the public.
What did George ask you?
I can imagine.
What did George ask you?
No, he only asked me if I had the adjective.
He didn't add that you are looking pretty.
He called me beautiful Lily. That's why.
When was the last time somebody called you beautiful lady?
I'm sure they right now. Now the beauty council, junior council to it.
Anyway,
sitting in this seat is not easy. It's not easy.
But we're always doing
Vanessa.
Let's discuss national issues. President Mahama says that it will cost the country 1.7 billion cedis to complete all the projects under Agenda 111. Interestingly, somewhere in July 2024, the then health minister stated that it will cost the country about 7.85 billion cedis. I am wondering where lies the differentiation in the evaluation of the entire project. Let me start with you, George.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you, and good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my colleagues, senior and junior councils. Good morning,
George.
To leadership of the New Patriotic Party. His Excellency, the former president, we wish you well in your retirement in politics. He's decided to bow out, and then yes. His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, I'm happy he said he's considered the possibility of continuing with the Agenda 111. Is a good project, and I'm happy that there's some projection estimates that has been brought before him for him to have told the clergy that it's going to cost us about $1.7 billion to complete them. That in itself is a good start to me, because the Agenda 111 is a properly assessed project, because there are districts in this country that do not have district hospitals, and so it's right and proper to have district hospitals built there, and there's psychiatric hospitals to the northern sector, and other facilities, health facilities that will help in advancing the course of medical care across the country. And so when I heard this, I was really happy myself. As of October 2023, over 90 out of the 111 hospital facilities were at various stages of completion. In fact, between 22% to about 74.9%, which is about 75%. That was as of October 2023. And so that was progress that were being made. Not only the hospital facilities, there were staff bungalows for some medical doctors and nurses attached to them. It's a very comprehensive project that the previous government had embarked on in collaboration with the Ghana Health Service. So it is just proper that His Excellency the President is put it in his program. In fact, he made a call to the missions, the churches to come on board if they will want to adopt and then complete some of them so that they will be operational. Before the previous government left office, I think we commissioned between 3 and 6 thereabout that the one which was the first one to have been started was commissioned. And I think there are about 2 or 3 more in the Ashanti region that were commissioned. So, but His Excellency, the President said some of them don't have the equipment to start operating and co. So these are all things that I believe he's been properly briefed on the Agenda 111, and he's interested in ensuring that they see the light of day. And that is what excites me. That is the way we need to go as a people. Governance is a continuum. What program or project that is proper and beneficial to the Ghanaian people. If the new government comes and sees it prudent to continue with it, let's do that. If there were issues that you don't understand, you do the auditing, and then based on the audit report, you then continue from there so that the Ghanaian will benefit. Otherwise, Lily, if you leave it that way, as I'm speaking to you, I know after 2023, as of 2024, some are at 90% levels and all that, you get it. So if you leave it to rot away, and wait for maybe the next 4 years and go and then say the government that started it should come and continue, it will not help us. So I will commend the President for showing interest in continuing the Agenda 111. Whatever it is, I believe it's got to good advanced stages, and we should get the money, find the money. It's one of the important projects. Let's find the money and then complete the hospitals to the benefit so that the people can then use those hospital facilities. It's going to create jobs for a lot of people. Nurses will be posted there, medical doctors will be posted there to make it operational, and then the people will benefit from it. So did you say that
as of 2023,
October 2023,
what percentage was the completion?
About 43% average, but it ranges from 22% to some 74.9%.
And as at the time your government left office, what was the stage of completion?
Yeah, it's about 60% plus. Yeah, that which was last year, October. So as of the time we were leaving, and we had commissioned, I'm not too sure, but I'm looking at 3 to 6 had been commissioned. But His Excellency, the current President, says some of them, though commissioned, are not operational. And so we need to put, we need to put measures in place to ensure that they are operational and that people can use the facilities. They are health facilities, and it's good for all of us.
Hamza.
Good morning to you, Lillian. Of course, my senior brother, Mr. Gentua, and Council. And unfortunately, too, my brother, who for years has decided not to repent, but to still dabble in the politics of deception, especially even when the facts are staring him right in the face. You see?
Good morning.
And of course,
I would be happy if you stayed the deception we were talking.
I will do that. And to our cherished viewers out there, you see, Lily, the reality is that no one in his right conscience would criticize any agenda of government intended to contribute to the health infrastructure of our country, especially when it is done in a way to actually ensure reality of that particular idea or intention, if you ask me. But unfortunately, we have a history in this country where presidents, or if you like, governments, decide to sleep and wake up on the other side of the bed and come out with all manner of programs or policies without an iota of strategy as to how these programs or initiatives will be funded. And remember, when His Excellency, the former President John Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo launched Agenda 111, many of us in the National Democratic Congress thought it prudent to start asking questions, and even many of our compatriots too, even in the media space, as to the source of funding for that particular project. Because if you would agree with me that the greatest challenge to noble initiatives in this country since 92 has always been unreliable sources of funding for our developmental projects. And so we thought that there was going to be a breakaway from that unrealistic way of rolling out national programs or interventions. The government failed to indicate to us how they were going to fund those projects. And we kept on raising the red flags and said that, look, you are already battling with an injured economy, and there was a need for you to apply the brakes in terms of how reckless you have been, and also intend to be, as far as some of these initiatives are concerned. They failed to listen. When His Excellency President Mahama launched the Free Community Day Senior High School project, we did not launch it without a source of funding. We indicated that we're going to engage the World Bank through the International Development Association to get the needed funding for the project. And we did. And we in fact received over $125 million from the World Bank IDA to see the project through. So we expected similar strategy from a government that was in the economic woes and needed to be prudent in its choices. But alas, we are here. We promised the good people of this country an agenda to reset. This is what we have come to meet. We would not behave like them, abandon the project like they did to the Free Senior Day, Community Day Free Senior High School projects.
No.
We would not do so. We'll do everything within our power to ensure that we drive this project into a successful completion. And that is why His Excellency President Mahama has indicated that the doors are open to the private sector. Those who are ready to engage us even on a PPP arrangement, and here I mean public-private partnership, to help us complete most of these projects, so that at least it can go and add to the infrastructure capacity of this country. So many of our compatriots can have access to health facilities in the various districts, like he indicated, and I agree with him on that. As far as that particular noble objective is concerned, I don't have a problem with the objective behind the project. But the point is, there's the tendency that if we don't get the needed private sector participation, many of these projects will rot away again. Not because the government intends it to rot away, but largely because the government would be cash-strapped in terms of raising the needed revenue to keep these projects going. You know that the economy is going through so much stress. Like His Excellency President Mahama said, it is almost as if the NPP government left us a crime scene, that our task is to quickly regroup and reset the economy. But we cannot do that successfully by engaging in expenditures that the public purse cannot support. And you see, that is why I said that the NPP takes pride in deception, and my brother is doing that today. If you go and read the media outlets, they told us Miracles Abuaji was the first to inform the whole good people of this country that over 45 of those hospitals were completed and ready for commissioning. And this was around 17th of November. Then followed Dr. Ansi Asare, who also gave us an entirely different figure in November, because he also quoted around 30-something ready for completion, commissioning. Then their own Ashanti regional chairman proceeded to say that about 30 had been completed and ready for commissioning. Nanado himself, on the 5th of December, told this country that about 46 of those hospitals were completed and ready for commissioning. Today, the facts reveal that only one has been completed. They hurriedly, in the midst of the electioneering campaign, went to Ashanti region to commission those he mentioned. There are about 2 or 3. And that's why he's struggling to give you the number.
3. I said between 3 and 6.
It is not true.
What is the deception?
It was, it is, but that is what I'm we have told you, I have just given you an array of misconception, or what's the name?
I'm not deceptive trajectory. You say ready to be commissioned. What language is that? Please.
Yes, I see you're jotting down some points.
Yes, yes. No, I don't want to come in, but
so the way you have your time. Please.
That's it.
I'm trying to expose the deception and the fact that you guys seem not to be learning from even that humiliating defeat that sought to check you when it comes to that politics of deception. And if you look at the commentary around this whole thing, it's a mess. You're unable to tell us the source of funding. You're unable to tell us the number that has been completed. You're unable to tell us the number that you have commissioned. A complete mess. And so I was having a discussion with someone this morning on the same subject matter. And I made the point that if you want to understand the legacy of Nanado and the MPP government over the last 8 years, then just take a careful look of the messy nature of the Agenda 111 initiative. You would understand that this is how this country was being governed, without any strategy. But people just wake up for political expediency and throw out projects or programs intended to deceive the good people of this country. Thankfully, that era is over. We are looking at ways of getting the needed private sector participation. I see, Lily, we must brace ourselves up, because even the economic policies of the last administration have had dire consequences for the private sector.
Right.
So in as much as we are looking for private sector participation, we understand as a new government that we may not be able to get that participation because most of them do not have the financial capital now, largely because of the impacts of the last 8 years, the economic decisions that have been taken. So we must begin to think outside the box and see how we can get these projects running. That is what the Ghanaian people expect from us as a new government. And I'm pretty much convinced that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will do everything within his power to get the needed funding, an identifiable funding source to complete these projects. Because no matter how you see it, the project undoubtedly would contribute significantly to the health infrastructure of this country. And we will not, on the altar of politics, allow them to rot away. But I'm just raising a caution that there is the tendency, largely because of the nature of the economy we inherited, that we may not be able to do so with the speed of light that it requires. But I am still hopeful that with the needed scrutiny, and most importantly, with needed policing by the media, that project should not be lost on the president and the finance minister. It is an initiative that we must find ways to ensure or see to completion. And I feel that sometimes the exigencies of government, many things may take away the mind of the president or the finance minister. That is why I'm saying that the media must also play a critical role in keeping it on the front burner, so that whatever it takes, whatever they need to find the needed resources to complete it, we do so for the good people of this country and avoid this needless politicking and deception. Hopefully, President Mahama and the NDC government will take a cue from the messy nature of this project and try as much as possible not to leave a similar legacy when we are leaving office.
And is that an indication that in the next 4 years, all the projects on the Agenda 111 will be completed?
That is the objective of this government.
Okay.
That is the objective of this government. That is why I indicated that we must do so with caution, though, largely because of the economic implications. Because clearly, government will not be able to find money to implement, to successfully complete it. That is why he has given the green light, that if you are in the private sector and you are interested, especially the missionaries, if you are interested in at least partnering with us to complete those projects, when it comes to the management, you can recoup your investments through the management of these facilities. So I don't want to say that we would be able to complete it before the tenure of His Excellency President Mahama, but I know that as a government we are committed, and whatever it takes to get the needed funding to get these projects off our way, we will do so in the good interest of the good people of this country.
Right. Ms. Janta.
Good morning. At the launch of Agenda 111, what time frame were we given?
18 months.
18 months. To give a time frame, it means you have the source of financing, right? So give us 18 months. Within 18 months, how many hospitals were achieved? George is telling us between, 3 to 6 hospitals completed. Look, this Agenda 111 projects, for me it was a knee-jerk reaction.
Okay.
You know why? A report was given to President Akufo-Addo with regards to the health sector, as to the needs of the health sector. I forgot to bring the report when I was coming. As to the needs of the health sector, what was said in that report was that we lack equipment in our hospitals. Let's try and get the necessary equipment in most of our hospitals. That is where the essence and the need is. But he decided against that and launched Agenda 111. Where was the money going to come from? I would want, and let me remind this thing you say. So, if President Mahama is telling us that we need 1.7 billion, show us what is left. We have newspapers, we have social media, print all the hospitals, what has been done, where some of the, let's see the different stages where they are. Once we do that, then we can look at the time it would take for us to be able to complete these hospitals.
That data is available.
The time it would take.
That's what I use them.
The time it would take for those hospitals, and we probably need to prioritize. Because if some hospitals, according to George's assertion, if some hospitals have need just 60% complete, need 40%, even 80%, then concentrate on those ones.
Right.
First, those that haven't been started, think about doing what? Probably and commit them. Commit them. Show them the best way to do it. And maybe, and you see, the challenge is that we are broke. We are broke. And if we are broke, it means the people too are broke. Where are they going to find that money to be able to even do a PPP? Some concessions would have to be made either way for private sector to do what? To come in. We would need to find some money outside. And for me, you know, I've always said it. We are a country endowed with two natural resources, water and gold. Unfortunately, if we had used our gold resources well, all these things would be small, because we would have been able to handle the gold that would bring in the money, because gold is more lucrative, if I can use that word, than liquid money. If we had done our gold industry very, very well, we won't be sitting here complaining. So maybe this new gold board that the president has set up, maybe it will come in to try and bring money into the system. And if not even bring money to the system, try and strengthen our city to be able to do so many things. Look at what Donald Trump is doing. If you look at the world today, the European countries and all the others who give us money, they are all following his line. A time will come when to get aid outside is going to be extremely difficult. So we would need to depend on ourselves and depend on our continent to help each other. Hospitals are key. Nobody knows when they will fall sick. Nobody. And if you fall sick and you go to a hospital and the hospital can't look after you, what will happen to you? Possibility is that you will leave this world. So it is important. Hospitals are important. But 111, when you look at it, could we have accomplished that in 18 months? Was it a possibility? George should tell us why the
even the president during his State of the Nation address in 2022 stated that, I mean, the timelines were overly ambitious. And so everything was going to be completed and commissioned by the end of his tenure in 2024.
So then he was overly ambitious choosing 111, wasn't he? What if he chose 16 hospitals for each region? One in each region. 16 would not have been completed by now. 16 good hospitals in every region, and then as part of the money, use it to shore up the hospitals that are already there, existing. But where did that figure come from? Why 111? What state of hospitals were they building? What, they were building clinics, or they were building state-of-the-art hospitals, hospital with equipment? Were they specialized hospitals he was building? What kind of hospitals were we building? General hospitals? Was that what it was? That's what I'm saying. President Mahama should outline everything for the people of Ghana to see what it's all about. Not just tell us 1.7. I'll put it in the papers. This region, this hospital. This region, this hospital. This region, this region. This is how much has been spent. This region, this is how much is this region. This is how much is left to be spent. Estimated time of finish is probably next 2 years, 3 years. Let us see. Because you know what will happen? Come 2028. Yes, 111 hospitals. We completed, forgetting the challenge it has brought to the government. Let the people see transparency. I beg of the Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, Presidency, 0.7 billion. How much money have we gone from IMF? How much money have we gone for IMF? Isn't it have that money? Yeah, isn't it have that money? So how are we going to do it? And I would want the President, through the Minister of Finance, to also tell us. Right now we have X hospitals left. This is how we propose to find money to do what? To finish these hospitals. Private sector, probably pick some of the private sector, come to AGI. Sit to the AGI.
But
to the AGI. See how the AGI, people in the AGI, private in the AGI, can also help build some of these hospitals.
In July 2024, the then Health Minister stated that about $300 million had been paid to contractors.
Let it come out and let's see. Is it true? Bring it out and let's see. Open the books. President Mahama promised us that he will open the books. Open the books for us to see. If that is what they said, is it true it has been paid to contractors? Let's see. Let's use it to also satisfy ourselves. The previous government, no, why there sika waka so be nyina no, what there a good stage way so you to take over. But if we find that some kurukuru went on with all these things, it has to be looked at. But I would love us to see where the state of every of the 111 hospitals are before we even start thinking about building new hospitals. Because with these 111 hospitals, it's taking a huge burden off President Mahama. Why? He wouldn't need to build any new hospitals. Electorals. That's why I agree with George that yes, it's a good thing he decided to take it on. It's not for the MPP party, it's for the people of Ghana. So it is important. It is important that we know. And I keep saying, look, the people are part of governance. Why? Look what happened at the election. The people are part of that. It's the people who put you there to man the country. And your responsibility is to them. So let the people know where we are. And I would expect the end. So it is important that transparency works.
Yeah, Lily, I think for the records, the community day schools were started by His Excellency, the current president, then in his first term. And it was, I think, about 123 or 24 of them. The World Bank funded only 23 of them. Okay, by the time they left office, 29 had been completed, but their handing over notes, they wrote 46. The Minister of Education, first time of the Akufo-Addo government, Dr. Poku Prempeh, said 46 was what was recorded, but 49 was the actual inventory that they saw that had been completed. Community day school, facts. But the Akufo-Addo government came and continued and completed about 31 of them. Okay, apart from the 29 they completed, about 39 of the Get Fund. Just check it. Get Fund administrator then, Dr. Ampofu. Yes, did say 31 had been completed. I had some documents. He gave us documents to that effect, and over 2,700 classroom blocks and co-worked on and completed. You get it? So these are the issues. The 123 or 124, 23 of them were the ones that were World Bank funded. And in fact, they were the ones that were actually completed. Okay? But the government didn't restrict itself to the World Bank funds alone. It expanded it to about 123 or 24 and completed 29 of them. Those official, but the handing over note stipulated 46 of them. Okay, this one also, we said about he himself used the word 45 or 46 will be ready to be commissioned. Doesn't mean it's commissioned. Okay, so these are different. Yes, that's what we said. Yeah, so if it's not completed, you can go and commission it. And it's good that there's a new government who says we are going to we are going to continue with it. Whatever it is, as a stage. And I'm not speaking out of vague this thing. No. I'm speaking to data. And I showed it to you. Agenda 111 Progress Summary, October 2023. What you were talking about is there. And it's been updated to 2024. Okay, this is what I'm speaking to. I'm not speaking from the figment of my own imaginations. No, I'm speaking to data. That's why I gave you 22% to about 79%. Okay, so these are the rates of command, but now it's about 60 to 90% as of the time we're leaving office. And it's a good call for the current president to see that. That's why I said it's a well thought through program. Senior counsel lawyer Jantua, this needs it. Yeah, I will agree with him in some part, because when COVID struck, then we all got up that no, we need to do something about health infrastructure. Yes, he said he's privy to certain documents or report that says we should rather equip the existing hospital infrastructure. Fine, but there's nothing wrong to expand and then get communities or districts that don't have district hospitals, to get some. If you live in a rural community and you are not well and you need to travel miles to get to a hospital facility, it's not easy. Sometimes you travel across 2 districts before you get to the 3rd district where there's a district hospital. These are challenges that our people go through daily. And so if this has been started, and there's a precedent that says I'll continue, I need about 1.7 billion. Why? Is it about only the IMF money? No. We then look, the finance minister has given the GRA a target of 200 billion to raise this year. Okay? That's the target he has given them. So what are we talking about? That's revenue generation source within the in-country. And so we need to do everything to ensure that we'll be able to, redirect some of them.
$1.7 billion US dollars, not cedis.
Dollars, that's what I said.
We are raising, what? 200 billion cedis.
Yes, yes.
$1.7 billion.
Well, let's make up for the...
No, it's not that all is going into hospital infrastructure. No, that's not what I'm saying. The target for these years, but they have 4 years. And so if you target them and you are completing them gradually, what are we talking about? You can channel some revenue resources to that, and this is only GRA targeted revenue. There are other statutory revenues and co that we get. So you put all together. He will be reading budget, I think, first week of March, and we'll get to know the vision and the direction of government. I believe definitely they are going to factor these into whatever plans they have. And it's good the president is calling on the churches and co to come on board to adopt some of these in some of their districts. One of the best districts in hospitals in Ghana is Okujetus, because there's a Catholic hospital there. Yes, there's a Catholic hospital. It's a very, very popular hospital. When I was growing up, you get it. So the time I went there during the crisis, I would look at, this is the popular, is it Bato something, Catholic hospital, something. You get it. Yes. It's very popular across the area and even the country. So it's a Catholic hospital, and there are Catholic hospitals in Dominic's, in Akwetia, and others. You get it. So that is the spirit in which His Excellency is calling on the churches to come and adopt some of these hospitals to benefit the people within the community. So it's good. I thought I don't understand why my brother says I'm throwing this deception and no. I'm speaking to facts. That's why I give range. You get it. So you are not caught, off guard and others. So Lily, these are the matters. I think it's good news. Okay, I don't care what narrative he puts to it, but it's good news that one government's project after, because look, there was this project, affordable housing by Kufuor. It's been left abandoned. Okay, sometimes you need to go and tackle some. When we came, we also tackled some. We couldn't complete all of them. You get it. There are projects, Sofo, is it Sofo line or interchange? Yes, you get it. It's not been completed. So if it would be good news if a government decides, okay, let's continue. And that need some of these agendas. If they are not able to complete all, no problem. Okay, the next government will come and continue. You get that's the spirit that we need to go. Sagalame, there were challenges and co, but Kojo Upon Nkrumah worked so hard to get a private participant or player to take interest in it. You get it. So these are, you target affordable housing, but the investment made into it so far doesn't make it affordable. Okay, because Parliament approved 40,000 per unit, and then from the estimate of the cost used in building the 1,506 instead of 5,000 translates to about $187,000. That is not affordable. So if any investor is taking it, he's going to be careful and look at the profit margins. So that is the spirit in which I'm excited that the current president has decided, okay, to continue with Agenda 111. He is the president. If he makes it a priority, he can find the 1.7 billion to do the job. If he wants, it makes it a priority, he can get it by partnering this private sector and churches and co. It's all part of a program to get the projects completed. If it makes it a priority, and we all know how beneficial health facilities are to the people. So that is the spirit in which my excitement, is going. Not any propaganda issues.
First of all, Mr. John Tua, it is not as if President Mahama is reluctant in making public the actual figures and various stages of completion.
The data is available.
You should understand that he was engaging the media on an unrelated matter, and it came up. And so expect the full disclosure, especially in the budget statement that will be presented by the Minister of Finance. We would be in a position to know the amount that was spent and subsequently even the amount that is actually needed to complete those projects. Also, the Auditor General has done some good work over the years on the expenditures as far as that particular facility is concerned. Indeed, it was the Auditor General that flagged the first $100 million that was paid through the Ghana Infrastructure Fund, Infrastructure Investment Fund, to that particular project. So I'm sure that there's a trail that we can use to give full disclosure as far as the financing issues are concerned. So I am not sure President Mahama is unwilling to make public these details. Those details will be made public. But responding to my brother, AC, you see, nobody is questioning the good intentions behind the project. Because I will not sit here and question any investment in the health sector. But I'm duty bound to raise red flags where decisions are taken in a knee-jerk fashion. I agree with you that to have district hospitals across this country, at least across all districts, is something the country should be working towards to achieve. And so on the basis of that, I don't have a problem with the project. But my only disappointment, which I indicated in my earlier submission, was simply the lack of urgency in identifying a verifiable source of funding for those projects. And so today you are challenging the new president, His Excellency President Mahama, that if he is interested in the project, he will be able to find the 1.7 billion if it is a priority to do it. Was it not a priority to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo? So why did he not find an identifiable source of funding for those projects? Up to date, can you tell us the source of funding for those Agenda 111?
What was the source of funding for the E-blocks?
I just told you that the IDH...
It was 23.
It's not
only
true.
23 of them.
Not true. It's not true. Please.
Okay, so you said it's not fast, but you have not been able to give us the...
I have told you that it was a loan.
Of funding for the Agenda 111.
The World Bank had promised to give us $200 million and ended up disbursing about $125, $126 million.
Yes.
So what are you talking about? You don't have an identified source. Can you allow me to make my point? When you were speaking, I endured it.
No.
Not because I was comfortable.
Please go ahead.
But you see, the point I'm making is that today, if it is a priority to President Mahama, he must find the 1.7 billion. So are we agreeing that this was not a priority project to the very man who mooted the idea and started the
Listen to the name
to
of
the
the project.
extent
Let me show
that
you.
he's unable to tell us, the good people of this country, the source of funding for that particular project.
He says it was directly under the office of the
Office of
president.
the President.
My goodness. I'm talking about funding. I'm not talking about execution agency or the one driving it. If you tell me that it was under the office of the president, what is the budget allocation to the office of the president? How much of that budget allocation were we told would be used to fund the project?
It was the government of Ghana funding.
Yes.
It was government of Ghana funding.
Yes.
But if it is government of Ghana funding, tell us how you are going to raise the funds. That is all what I'm saying. We are dealing with a budget
not going on.
So tell us that out of this revenue stream,
Let me show
for
you the
this
name
year,
of the thing.
we are
Read it to the
investing
public.
10% towards this. That is all I'm asking. But if you have not done that, it simply means that you had no strategic plan for the financing of those, what's the name, your so-called priority projects. And for me, that is my disappointment. But like I told him,
funding,
he should be rest assured that unlike them, we are looking at viable options to complete them. But I can assure you that as for abandoning them, it is not on the table. Like we completed N1H1 when we came into office under President Mills and President Mahama. We are committed to getting this project completed.
Before council comes, there's the Ghana Priority Health Infrastructure Project. That's the name. Ghana Priority Health Infrastructure Project. So there's a priority to it.
No, I'm talking about source of funding. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about source of funding. What is your source of funding?
To do.
But
the annual
Mr.
budget.
Jantua, you see the same way they implemented free senior high school.
But then how do you?
And today, what is the state of it?
When you
the
don't
same
know
way.
your
the money is
fund
going to come from.
Where is the money going to come from? You are talking about priority. I'm asking you where the
budget.
If it is a priority, tell us where the money is going to come from.
That's why initially they gave $100 million. And
from where?
You said no.
I just gave you the source of that $100 million.
No, I have it. I have it here. I said this is a report, a summary report. They have. So what are we talking about? And if the council even said it's moved to, I think, 300 million. And
Really?
So
This pairs in
That's
your,
the initial
in your neck. Before you went to buy it, did you not make sure you had the money?
Of course.
It's not always so.
When you were budgeting for it.
No.
Oh, I always do.
You budget for it and then you go and buy it. So did we budget for 111?
Yes.
Did we
Initially,
know
it
how
was
much-
88.
Did we know how much?
Yes,
it
that we
would
changed it to
cost?
111. Yes.
Did we know how much it would cost?
Yes.
Did we know where the money was going to come from
That's the
at the
budget.
time? Look, I think
The cost evaluation was 7.65 billion.
Yes.
was that a realistic cost?
Yes.
What did the quantities, the bill of
It
quantities
will
tell
vary
us?
as time goes on.
Not the bill of quantities, and was that for infrastructure or that included equipment?
We were told it was for
Everything.
both,
We included it.
according to them.
What kind of
They said it was
hospitals
free.
were we building?
Yes.
That hasn't been stated. What kind? Were they clinics?
No, we had regional
Were they,
hospitals.
were they,
Regional
regional
hospitals,
were they
yes.
out of the
District
State of the art.
state of the art hospital?
60
You see,
units,
Mr. Gentua,
100,
in all honesty,
those are
in
all
terms
in
of the
range. Yes.
formulation,
Please hold on.
Yeah.
Let Mr. Jantua
something?
speak.
I'll send it to you,
I
Eja.
think we should find a way before parties bring up their
Everything is
manifestos to know which project, because the constitution tells us perpetual succession. Any new government that comes in should take over the projects of the previous government.
Thank you.
Maybe we should find a way before parties' manifestos come out to see what projects have been put in place, time of finishing, and what projects will transcend into a new government. So that when we are doing our manifestos, we look at it and put it, because any new government coming also have their projects they want to do. And these ones too are backlog. There are quite a lot of projects that Kufuor did that are in the bush today. Financial loss has been spent.
To the state, yeah.
So we need to find a way where when governments come in and they start projects and they haven't finished before they leave, we can include it in the next government. Or we will say to the people of Ghana,
constitutional provision.
wait, well, we say to the people of Ghana, once we come in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects are the ones that were started. It needs to be finished. We wanted to do similar projects here, so we would try as much as possible to abandon ours and finish these projects that have been started. For me, it's the financial loss element that kills me. Because some of the money, look, when you go to Cocoa Board today, some of the money that they were using to help with cocoa farmers that they took as a loan, after a while, the money that they took as a loan also generated its own cost. An extra, loan on that loan they had taken. Probably it would take another 2-3 years, because the estimates we made to finish it would probably go for that. And remember, the cost of money is always going up. The cost of money is always going up. We need to find that way and stop the kind of politics that we do, where we say it's an NPP project, it's an NDC project, it's a CPP project, so we are doing our own. That needs to stop, because we are bleeding the country by doing that. Let's give President Mahama the gratitude that he decided to continue these projects. Let's give him that thanks for doing that.
That's what I did, and somebody is saying
how he does it
problem
is where the challenge is. How he does it. And I hope some of the projects that he wants to do will be such that by the time he leaves in 4 years, at least 70% of those projects, 80% of those projects, and some of the projects that were put in place. One of the projects that hit me was the cylinder project. A company where people came together, I think they were even from Abosokai, where they came together and started manufacturing cylinders. Cylinders. They got money from Exim. Unfortunately, money dried up. The Chinese people who came to help them build that factory then left. When they were able to train, they told them that, look, we've been able to train our own people, and so we don't need your services anymore. Let them go. These same Chinese people now came back into the country because they realized that the imports of cylinders from China had dropped because of this factory that had been built in Ghana. These same Chinese people who helped put this factory together now came in and built their own factory and brought in cylinders and killed the one that we had built. Right now, they don't even have operating capital. They have billions of cylinders that are stuck in the in their warehouse.
Billions?
Yes, but the Chinese one seems to be working. Who gave the Chinese a license to come and compete with us? Who? Isn't it our own first? Should we not look at our own and make sure that our own is what we are buying, that we bring in foreign competition to kill us? Because remember, they are getting loans at a very cheap interest rate. We aren't. Now, operating capital, even a confit juice that the MPP, clap about. Today, are they working?
Yes, they are.
They don't have working capital.
They are working.
Yesterday, they interviewed them. Working capital they don't have. There's another one, potato factory, which was turning potato into flour for baking. Right now, they have stopped. Exim didn't give them the rest of the money they were looking for. They don't have operating capital. I mean, how? How? So we should try as much as possible, when we put these projects in place, see to the end, let these projects start moving and making money and employ people. That is why it is important that any government that comes in take over what the other has left off, so far as it's a project that will help the country of Ghana, and do it. Where we find the money from, let's all put our heads together. And nobody should now come and clap, oh, it was our project, and they came to take over. That is neither here nor there. It is building a nation, and it's for the country of Ghana.
But one have had a model, and its government is not the one in charge. It helps in cutting the cost of credit to them. That's what government does. You get it. So you bring your program and code, and government supports you. Exim supports you. Then they give you credit. The government takes half of the cost of credit, so that you build on. So if you get stuck in the way,
can we talk about
please? You not do everything. Nobody does that.
Former appointees of invited over corruption allegations over the 2 million SkyTrain investment. Professor Christopher Ameyo-Kofi was also invited. A deputy director of the National Service Authority was also invited. The accountant of the National Service Authority was also invited yesterday at the NIB. Mr. Janta.
In terms of
the corruption allegations,
well, they need to investigate. And if these individuals were heading these institutions, definitely they need to hear their side of the story. If any untoward things happen, they need to hear. Because I take it that the investigative agency would have done their homework, would have looked through the paperwork, would have seen the inconsistencies in it, and it would need to question those who were in charge to get a full picture of the story. They need to get a full picture. They need to get evidence if this is going to go to court, if they find any untoward thing that happened in the process. So for me, it's in line. Irrespective of the names that are being mentioned, they were heading those institutions at the time, and we need to hear their side of the story. To every situation, there are two sides of a story. The investigators have their side. They want to question to make sure that the side that they have are augmented is right. And if it needs to go to court, it goes to court, and the court will decide who has done right and who has done wrong. Simple.
Hamza.
I think it is important to state that this is in line with the very nature of the promise of accountability we made to the good people of this country. They ran up to the last election. And so for me, it is not surprising, because I see a president and a government that is committed to touching almost every facet of the promises made to win that election. And especially so, we are dealing with an economy that is badly injured. And sacrifices would need to be made in terms of reviving our economy. And you would not expect the cooperation and support of the ordinary Ghanaian if you fail to demonstrate in your steps as a new government that indeed you are not just calling on them to make sacrifices, you are also committed to punishing those who in one way or the other misconducted themselves when they were given the opportunity to serve by the last president, by the former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo of this country. And so for me, it is in line with what I expect to happen. Investigations themselves are not bad. And knowing the president we are dealing with, I am sure that we all know that President Mahama is a meticulous president and someone who is very accommodating in nature and with utmost fidelity to the rule of law. This is not a president who would want to be found on the wrong side of the law. And so even in carrying out these investigations, that is why we are now seeing a prominent role by the National Investigations Bureau, that is the NIB, in all these issues. But my hesitation has always been dealing with issues of substance when it comes to the alleged reasons why they have been invited. Because I'm sure, Mr. Gentua, you would agree with me that none of the releases so far we have seen from the NIB indicates why Professor Ameyo-Kofi was invited. It is simply media conjecture. We are saying that it possibly could have something to do with the 2 million sky train that was promised. Yes, but it is possible. It is also possible, entirely possible, that it may have to do with something clearly unrelated to that particular agenda, because that was not the only project he handled as board chairman of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. There are so many things that we may not be privy to that the new government, looking into the books, probably would have discovered and needed more explanation in that regard. When it comes to the National Service Secretariat, I think that it is not a peculiar problem, to be fair, of the New Patriotic Party. There's the need for us to look at holistically redesigning that institution. This is not the first time we are hearing ghost names. To be very fair, I think to a large extent it happened also under an NDC government.
Exactly.
Where some of them had to be arraigned before court, largely because of the suspicions. And so this is not new. And those prosecutions were done by the NDC government. So we have to be concentrating not just on prosecuting those who are found culpable, But we must also be interested in identifying the loopholes that people take advantage of as far as some of these institutions are concerned. Because it looks like we're able to manage it effectively with YE, because YE we had similar challenges. Some people had to go to prison because of their conduct. And for some time now, it has been beautifully managed, scandal-free, and we are moving on. Of course, there are so many questions in terms of the contracts that we can both decide to question, whether you belong to the NPP or NDC. But when it comes to how far we have been able to manage and nip the opportunities for people to engage in corruption at YE, it is somehow commendable. Let us give that same attention to NSS and see how we can make it
now NSA.
Now NSA
is an authority now.
And see how we can make it unattractive for officials to engage in these corrupt acts. And for me, that should be the towering objective. Because you can engage in all kinds of prosecutions. Anytime you appoint new people there, they'll go and do the same thing all over again. It means that there's the need for us to look at our database. And that is this is where we have to take our national identification very important. Because I'm sure if we get hold of that, devoid of propaganda and politicking, and we actually build the needed infrastructure to guarantee national identity, we may be able to avoid some of these opportunities or close some of these opportunities that our officials engage in at the National Service Secretariat. But on the whole, accountability is one of the foundational pillars of economic recovery. If you do not get it right, you are likely not to get the needed support locally and internationally. Mind you, our international partners are also looking at us. They want to see how we pursue the angle of accountability before they will have the confidence to bring in their investments into the country. And that is why I feel that nobody should see it as witch hunting. It is simply an agenda to reset our economy. But in the process, if you are found wanting, if there are questions that needs to be answered, and if the NIB, based on the advice of the Attorney General, they decide that it is important for certain charges to be preferred on certain individuals, so be it. They will have their day in court, and at the end of the day, the courts will make a determination as to whether one is guilty or not. And we will not, unlike we have seen in the past, this government and President Mahama, knowing the character of President Mahama, he would not engage in any questionable ways of influencing the judiciary simply because he's interested in getting a certain result out of our court proceedings. So they can rest assured that they will have full access and honest investigative processes as far as these issues are concerned. At the end of the day, it is the Ghana project. We are all interested in making Ghana a better place and making it unattractive for those with criminal intent. And I'm sure the NPP would be more than willing to support us in that drive. I always I detest with every fiber of strength in me the appetite of politicians to amass or to organize each other in the name of going to show solidarity for one of their own who is being invited to answer questions or being prosecuted. Because I feel that these are some of the challenges that makes it extremely difficult for us to fight corruption in this country. If people are found culpable by the laws of this country, irrespective of their political affiliation, they must be made to face the full rigors of the law. In any case, even President Mahama himself was subjected to investigation under the direction of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. This has never happened under the fourth Republican Constitution. But President Akufo-Addo thought it prudent then, based on whatever information was available to him, to direct an investigation of President Mahama. President Mahama was in this country, availed himself to the authorities, and they carried out those investigations. So it should not be news that ministers of states or board chairman or fund administrators have been called by NIB to answer for their stewardship in office. Let us allow them to go through the process. And at the end of the day, whatever report is presented to the Attorney General, the Constitution empowers him to make a determination in consultation with the President as to whether to proceed with prosecutions or not. So there's nothing illegal about it, like Mr. Gentua said. It is in line with good democratic governance, and we only hope that others don't take advantage of the situation to create mayhem in the name of defending their former political appointees and sacrificing the collective objective of the good people of this country for the need for accountability.
Okay, George.
Yeah, Lily. The issue of democracy is primarily based on the need for accountability, progress and development for our people and our nation. And it strikes knowledge that some people voted for the NDC or they vote to change government because they want accountability. They want people trusted with positions to account for their stewardship. That is the primary objective of some people for changing government. You get it? So once that is done, and once you are entrusted with a responsibility to man or run a state institution, a day of reckoning is definitely going to come. You get it? So you must psych yourself and prepare yourself to answer all the needed questions. But the way it's being approached is what is a bit worrying. Okay, the media razzmatazz going after people as if they've been declared criminal and wanted by a competent court.
How else did you want them?
No.
They were invited for questioning.
Yes, some invited. Now Ghartey, I understand Ghartey has been invited. That's nice. That's the way it should be. But you just pick somebody. Hey, Amir Kofi, whether invited or picked, and then the media, the young boy at National Service. As if some Rambo style or whatever. Look at Kedufuri at his home.
You get it. Wait, so if you say the young boy at National, are you talking about the accountant?
Yes, I think.
Oh, you're talking about Ohineba.
Osunoba, yes.
You're talking about Osunoba.
Yes, Osunoba.
Okay.
How was he talking
about? You get it. So
but he was invited.
When you read it in the media,
because even the accountant had come out to debunk any media reports that he was arrested. He was only called for questioning.
Invited. That's the proper way. You invite investigation. I've been a barracks boy. Investigation is the process. You get it. You invite them. You engage them. Then they go. Then later, until you have all the facts to arrest them.
Is the government doing anything
That is how it should be. Then we get this, as if, look at what we are paying for at his house. It's not the best. Invite the person. He will come. Because he has served the state. The president, the former president is told all of his appointees to make themselves available. And that is how good governance is. But I understand why this is going on. Because the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has said that the management of the economy is like a crime scene and all that. So they should feed into that. He's reiterated it severally here. You get it? So they should do things that will feed into that. You get it? To put some fear in their opponents. To say, we are coming after you. So that the focus will be shifted from the main issues of governance. And how can you say the government this thing was a crime scene? In an economy that was growing in first quarter of 2024, 4.8%. Second, 7.0%. Third quarter, 7.2%. Projected end year growth to be 6.3%. How? Reserve of 9 billion, 4 months of import cover compared to 6.2, 3.5 months of import cover that was inherited, and 3.4% growth. How do you say this economy is a crime or criminally managed economy? You see, sometimes we're making excuses for failure. That's what I'm gleaning from some of these commentaries. You get it? So it's worrying. But hey, in being invited to respond to matters of your stewardship is proper. If you don't want to be invited and don't be in the government space.
Why?
Because once you serve the nation, you must come and account for your stewardship. Okay? That should be done with some finesse. Fortunately, the two of them are lawyers, officers of the court, and they understand these things better. People's rights, human rights, and all that. We need to respect that. Invitation by NIB, is it only the yes? And we political issues, all of us from all the Fourth Republic, we've preferred using the NIB than the CID and other investigative bodies. You get it? But so that we send the signal that yes, show you where power lies and all that. You get it? And they sometimes use some Rambo style, and they have their own style. You get it? So, but
have they used Rambo's style and
oh, I've shown you one with Oforiata.
But who can substantiate that it was NIB?
No. I'm saying the style. You know, now he's an official now. The Jakpada led it officially. Now is an NIB appointee. You get it? It was after that.
National security.
National security. Yes, you get it. National security, National Investigative Bureau.
They are two different entities.
They are.
They gather. NIB gathers intelligence.
Politicians use them to show people power.
Is that what the NPP did? Is that what the NPP did?
That's what is being done now.
No, but is that what the NPP did?
That's what is being done now.
Politicians. Yes. Well, I am not a politician, so I can ask you.
We've seen it over the period. Okay. And Operatives is here. He's been in the country. He knows how we politicians have used these people. And I was saying, because of some of the commentaries made by His Excellency, that's what they want to give credits to by going after these people in these ways. But the crux of the matter is that people must be accountable, come and respond. And what is the SkyTrain mobilization paid and co? What's the crime in that? STS, monies were paid. Okay? Monies were paid. So what?
No, but where's our SkyTrain?
Is it?
Don't they have a reason to question where's our SkyTrain?
No, they have a reason. So you call them. If there's a board approval, okay, that the advance be paid and all that, and because of the terms and conditions therein, okay, because if you want some investment, there are some counterpart funding, there are some commitments you need to make. So they will be there to explain some of these things. This thing will be put before the board makes the approval that, okay, go ahead and let's fulfill our part of the deal, so that they will also bring the yes, and then the project kickstarts. So these are details that will be given when these people are invited, because if they don't go there, how do we get the details and the truth of the matter? Okay, so I don't have a problem with it, but when you try to politicize it and make it look like, oh, these are a bunch of criminals and others, and send the wrong signal.
But has anybody politicized this?
Somebody that you are in correspondence with.
The invitation of your Bono regional chairman.
Fugitive.
Meanwhile, he's not ever in correspondence. I saw
what is the purpose?
A lot of your party members saying that they are going in to support. I mean,
support who?
The invitation of Abronye.
Yes, no. You see,
will you
listen. This is because you are making it seem like a political witch hunting. Okay,
but he
make it look that way. Then the political base will come up.
Come and substantiate your allegations.
So in fact, was he not called? Did he not go? He went. He's not run away from them. So let him go and answer the questions. Look, when I sit here, I'm responsible for everything I say.
Absolutely.
You get it? Because last time I said something that President Mahama had overwhelming or massive goodwill, okay, of the people. And I went on to say that because of the conducts of these dismissals and co, he's chipping away that goodwill. And it was cut. And I have no problem with that.
Actually appear tomorrow. It's a Wednesday.
Thank you. You get it. He's been invited. He will go there. But if you do some of the things that they're doing, the party base will think, okay, it's a political witch hunt. Let's go for solidarity. And they've gone for solidarity to the police headquarters severally. We have done same. Kennedy Japan's invitation and all that. You remember those ones? Yes, it's there. And it's because the semblance of the act shows that it is political vendetta. When it shows that way, then the party base rise up, okay, to provide solidarity. And it's not the best. But we should
the NIB should not invite. If you
they should.
Semblance.
No, they should. No, you see, the way it's being reported in the media space is showing like people are just chasing people, and you get it. And I've said, as a biased one, know that invitation for investigation is part of the process.
Okay.
So if Professor Amir Kunfi was board chairman and he's been invited, Joe Ghartey, who has even heard, they say he was invited. Nice report out in the media. And nobody is incensed about that.
Exactly.
You get it? So let's allow the invitation.
What other report do you want? Because all the invitations we had
when you read out of the young boy, it's as if his house was raided. You get it? Which is not right.
I think
you get it. And the national service issue, they had the upper. It's only the investigation that can situate the thing properly. And I agree with counsel that there was a scandal before, 2013 thereabout. Okay, I had friends who were victims. You get it? They were service officers and co who were victims, and some of them claimed they were not part of the whole thing, but they became victims. You get it? So let's do the proper investigation. If it's at the top, let's see those who were involved. If it wasn't true, as the leaders are making us to believe. I've read their statement. They disagree with the fourth estate. You get it? It's some of they say there's whole courts and other things. It's only investigations that can establish the issue. Last one. Some make the argument that there was some recent auditing for payments at National Service. And the December one opening was about 140,000 people. But this one is about 100,000 thereabout. Then I said, yes, the cohorts are different. Some may end theirs along the line. So you should have that fact before you can conclude whether it's possible to have 140 and then 100 the following month or more. You get it? So you must get the investigations done, and then we can go into the matter.
Absolutely.
We are building a nation. Let's
just
be doing some of these things.
I think, first of all, it is important to note that the government does not have editorial discretion when it comes to what the media publicizes on their front pages or even on TV stations or radio stations. What the government does is simply using the state institutions to do an investigation. We cannot tell GHOne as to how to caption a headline when it comes to invites extended to former government appointees. So it has nothing to do with the government of the day. And that is why I'm telling you here and now, my brother, that I admire your passion, but it was needless. If you have any issues with what is being reported out there, take it up with the media. Government is focused, and we are using the laws to go ahead with our investigations. If at the end of the day, you have any problem with the modus operandi of the government, the law courts are there for any of those who are invited to go and raise issues of human rights or whatsoever. That is why we have the law courts. But when it comes to the media, unlike presidents of the past, we would not interfere with editorial policy of media people. We will give them that freedom to publicize. And if you have any concerns, you can go ahead and deal with the media in terms of how they choose to report those invites. That's nothing to do with the government. It doesn't mean that government is engaged in Rambo-style invitation or what have you, and trying to heat the political temperature. We are only extending invitations.
They are engaged.
In this country, we all saw what happened in 2017 when Nana became president. To the extent, even when he was late, when he died, his house was besieged with military men. The current SIC acting MD, James Ajenim Boateng, woke up early morning with military men all over his house. John Jinapo, the current Minister for Energy, faced a similar fate. These were state-sponsored today.
And even the current Attorney General.
Today. You cannot say same.
We can say same.
No, the only evidence. I'll get there. No, he did not pull any.
Not official.
The only evidence of military men going to a house was that led by Japa. And if you notice, the government has responded promptly.
Without locus.
And that is why the NIB is actively working. Have you heard anywhere in the media that military men have gone to arrest any other person in the NPP?
Don't worry.
When there's a change of government, people can sometimes be overzealous, especially with new power. But leadership must demonstrate that indeed it is up to the task and prevent such things from happening. We have prevented it just with a single occurrence.
You couldn't. The boys who are moving from office to office.
I have counted over 5 instances where military men were used. But this is a new era.
Give you
and we are trying to run away from it. And we are not engaged in that political sensationalism.
No.
Monies were lost as a result of the conduct of people. And this government is committed to recovering those monies where we can. And where we cannot, the government will make sure that those people face the full rigors of the law.
Yes,
right.
As for the economic figures and Mahama declaring the country a crime scene, the good people of this country, they have already passed a verdict on the economic performance of the previous administration. I wouldn't waste my time to throw out figures about how badly they performed. But you see, you and I know the state of the economy even before they left office and what President Mahama is coming to deal with. And that is the reason why even Labour had to compromise on a 10% salary increment, because they understand the economic situation of this country.
It's normal for any new government.
So, you see, you may be engaged in Rambo style and you think that the NDC is doing same. We are dealing with a new leader who is allowing state institutions to work. And if you
there's a groundswell for the party to rise up.
If you look at the invitation extended to
solidarity,
then Bono regional chairman.
Yes,
just
there's a groundswell for that.
Lastly on that. Yeah.
Yes,
just
there's a groundswell for that.
Lastly on that. You see, it is also backed by law, by the Securities and Intelligence Act. It's also backed by law, by the Securities and Intelligence Act.
Yes.
If you have made allegations to the effect that the presidency is holding an amount of over 500 million Ghana cedis, they are mandated under the Act, I think Section 6, to investigate anything associated with economic that could compromise the economic security of this country. And so if you are invited to come and assist in investigations, it does not mean that you are being hunted. It simply means that your allegation could actually be true against the president. So the BNI or the NIB is only interested in the president. So the BNI or the NIB is only interested in ascertaining the veracity of saying. They are not in the veracity of saying. They are not responsible for dealing with matters of defamation against the president. Defamation is a private law claim. Simply invited the gentleman.
Nobody has
and so there's no need. I have listened to many of your communicators. There's no need. There's no need for you to say that party foot soldiers should assemble and give him support because he's been hunted largely because of statements he made against the president. He has been invited as a citizen of this country to help in investigations. But if at the end of the day, it has been established that he spread falsehood, that falsehood could also have economic repercussions, and there will be laws that will be activated to deal with such recklessness, because we are committed this time around to ensuring that we leave that in the back and prevent the lives of Abuja.
There's a culture of silence being reintroduced.
But like he said,
headlines all over.
No, but he said that the presidency does not determine editorial policies of media houses.
Of course, but the semblance of the acts and conducts of the NIB makes the media to put it that way, and that will make me maybe to call on the grassroots to rise up to go in solidarity. But that's no, I'm not calling for that yet. But I'm telling you, there's a groundswell for that.
Okay, George. We have to move to the removal
of varied reasons. So those varied reasons. So those varied reasons overweigh what they are telling us.
Bread and butter.
Look, bread and butter. And those figures that George is saying, he should eat into the bread and butter. Did he eat into the bread and butter?
Why not?
George, did you say
in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, into the bread and butter.
I might not be here.
Yes.
In 10 years' time,
into the bread and butter.
I might not be here.
Yes.
In 10 years' time,
don't worry.
I might not be here.
Yes, you may be here. You may.
I might
in
not.
10 years' time, if I sit here with you, what can show that there was the bread and butter issues?
He will not come and sit on this platform.
The bread and butter issues.
The president.
The bread and butter issue is the data that will make that young person believe that the system was good. Because our message to
how President
the system was good. Because our message to
how President Mahama
Hub and CPP's court. Hub and CPP's court suit asking for the removal of General Kotoka's name from our premier airport in Accra. That's our premier airport in Accra. That's the Kotoka International Airport. So I have seen the leader for democracy have put out